Okay, so these are the topics that are going to be covered. The first module that is today, it's getting started with Python. Okay, we'll talk about the basics of Python and why Python basically, why is it that we are using Python. Now, what is Python? Python is a very high-level dynamic object-oriented programming language, right? It's very dynamic, and you'll see as to why it is. And of course, it's an object-oriented programming language. You can write your classes, you can write your packages, etc. It is we'll be exploring that part of it as well. Python is easy to program and read, right? Let me do one thing for you. It's Python. Let me open my check Python here as well. I want to show you while I execute my code. I want to show something. I just want to give you an idea as to how this looks like. This is one of the programs that I wrote in order to pull data from Twitter. Okay, there are tools available to do this. Can we run Python through Putty? No, Babu, we cannot do that. The reason why I connected to Putty is to just show you some of the basic stuff. Okay, but most programming that I'm going to do is on Python, and that will be in my Linux box. If you look at this code, right, even before, just to make it interesting, I wrote this in order to pull data from Twitter. I pull all the data from Twitter, which is which has user ID or hashtag of Nike. It will pull all the tweets which has Nike in it, and the only few, it's just few lines of code here. See, it's just a couple of lines of code here, and the rest everything is more of getting the output in proper format. It's more of the rest everything is formatting. The code is only hardly I would say that 8 to 10 lines of code, and then you have data from Twitter. So guys who have understanding of Hadoop, you know that Flume does a lot of this work. Flume pulls streaming data, right? So for folks who do not know about Hadoop and Flume is a tool which is used to pull streaming data from Twitter. You can just configure this, you can configure whatever you want to pull the data and whatever hashtags or user ID that you want to pull, and then you run the program. It will continue to pull data for you as long as you want to. It's like a daemon will run in the background and will continue to pull you the data. That's what Flume does. But how do you pull all those data which are which are past data? Flume will only pull you present data or future data which might come. It will keep on waiting, and as soon as someone enters the data, it will pull you that data. But what if you want past data? The data that you tweeted yesterday or day before yesterday. And this is just one example of Twitter, right? We can. I have also written a program to download, to pull all this data from Facebook, any social networking site. So you can do that. It's pretty easy, once you understand this concept. So using Python, I mean, these are all, it's mandatory. It's a consumer key, consumer secret, etc. Don't worry about this. So basically, the logic is just here, and I tried to beautify it by providing date and time, etc. I try to make it more generic, so I've given that. Otherwise, the logic here is in the 7-8 steps. That's it. So Python makes it, so much easier for you to do many of the tasks which otherwise would have been extremely difficult. Just imagine writing this code in Java. I don't know, maybe you'll end up writing hundreds of lines of code there. So just look at the number of lines it uses here. And the most important thing, Amazon Web Services, etc., they're all written in Python. So all these things that you see in cloud, right, most of these things would have been written in Python. Now, we'll come back to our slides. Python is easy to program and read, and that was the point that I was trying to make. It's similar to Perl, but with powerful typing and object-oriented feature. Okay, the next thing that I want to explain here is that you see this. You look at this, right? Generally, for loop, we have we open braces and close braces, right? But in our cases, in case of Python, there is no open or it's all, there is no braces. It's all indentation. It's all spacing. You need to have, let's say, for example, 5 character space here, and after that, let's say a for inside a for, it has to be so many characters inside there, and then you have this created inside this. Again, these are all indentation. Okay, everything is indentation here, and when I ran this code quickly, it gave me this data. It just pulled the latest 3,200 past tweets, and then it has given me all these tweets. It's a nice format, right? It looks beautiful. So it does not. You'll be able to do this in, let's say, a couple of classes. You'll be able to write your own program and do a lot of things with Python. So going back to our Python, it's commonly used for producing HTML contents of website. Most of this websites, they use Python to produce HTML content, and useful built-in types, lists and dictionaries. I'll be covering this in complete detail. What is a list? What is dictionary? So on and so forth. So just understand it's there right now. It's clean syntax. You have PYC. Normally, whenever you save a program, right, you see here it's .py, right? And what is PYC here? You might ask me. It's a compiled bytecode, right? If you import a module, Python will build a .pyc file that contains the bytecode to make importing again easier later on. So you have again, if you do it with optimization, there is an option there. So if you want to optimize the code and then create your something similar to PYC compiled code, then the extension becomes PYO, and then you again have PYD, so on and so forth, right? There are a lot of extensions that are available. We'll see that. And great for text processing, in the sense that if you guys are working on, artificial intelligence or natural language processing, then Python is the best language to use, right? So there are a lot of powerful things available in Python in NLP. You might, all these days, right, you might hear a lot of things about sentiment analysis. People keep talking about sentiment analysis. I have done this sentiment analysis. Even in news, if you open any of these news channels these days, they'll keep on saying that the sentiment analysis of Twitter or Facebook says that this particular person is doing so great, and otherwise, or he has a lot of negative sentiments associated with this person or this product, and so on and so forth, right? If you look at my Nike example, I would pull this data. I have all this data from Nike, right? And then do a sentiment analysis. When I say sentiment analysis, if I have to do a negative and positive sentiments, it can be as simple as, let's say, good. If there is a term good in any of this, right, in any of these tweets, then I might say that that's a positive sentiment. And if I have something like bad, in this sentence here, in this tweet here, I can say that this is a negative sentiment, right? So if I can have a collection of words, that's like doing things in a very crude way, okay? But I can have a collection of words which are positive, maybe good, great, excellent. I would group this word and keep it separately as one file, and then I have like bad, worst, so on and so forth, right? All those negative words as next set of statements, and I would compare each of these tweets with my two set of words that I have. If it is like, if it comes on, if there is any word here like good, I would just blindly say that this is a positive sentiment, although that might not actually be correct. I'm just trying to give you an example. And if there are some words which says that bad, at worst, etc., I might have this as a negative sentiment. So that ways, I'm doing a sentiment analysis at a very basic level. But with natural language processing, it reads the whole data here, and it's able to understand whether it's a positive sentiment or negative sentiment. There are a lot of packages already available in NLP, it just understands, it reads the statement, it understands it, and then it actually, as human do, right? When we read this sentence, when your first 14K run in your new something like lunar glides, okay, I'm not able to make out any positive or negative sentiments because it does not have anything. But let's say, for example, if you had such statements here, which is ambiguous, NLP will even be able to process those ambiguous statements and correctly identify whether that's positive, negative, or it can do any kind of sentiment analysis. So that's how powerful an NLP is. That's mostly NLP is used in robotics and artificial intelligence as well. So it's a very powerful package in Python. So that's why it says it's great for text processing. And then these are all text, right? Unstructured data. So far you what are the data you have been processing so far? Structured, semi-structured, all the data that are available in database. Structured data, all the data like, for example, JSON and XML, etc. Semi-structured, you are processing structured, semi-structured. But how is it that you actually process unstructured data? And 90% of world's data is unstructured. It's just 10% of the data that you have in the whole world is structured. So, what is it that you can do with all those unstructured data? Python can very well handle those data. So, hence it's great for text processing. Now, coming back here, why Python? Python focuses on readability, coherence, and software quality in general, which sets it apart from other languages in the scripting world. Now, you might be like, this code does not look clean, right? There are a lot of comments here. These are all single line comments, right? A lot of comments here, and does not look clean. But let's see. Okay, this is one another code, right? What this does is, okay, I wrote this code in order to scrap data off a website. Okay, now what's that? Just go to any of this website, right? Let's say, for example, google.com, and then okay, and then I say finance, right? Google Finance. Let me go here. Now I do an IBM, right? See, if you go here, okay, Rakesh, is it okay now? Okay, Rakesh says it's better now. Okay. So it can be both ways, Rakesh. I mean, at times it can be from my side, or if not many folks are complaining, then I would assume that it's from your side. Okay. So if you see here, right, I have international IBM's, all this. If you go here, you have net profit margin, you have the key stats here, right? Let's say I want to compare, I'm a stockbroker. Okay, I want to compare the stocks of net profit margin, etc., of IBM and let's say SAP. I want to buy some of this shares. How do I do it? Every time I need to let's say evaluate, I would go ahead and I'd have to type something here and then go back to this place and then see. Isn't there any way that I can have all this data side by side? Right? I can do that using Python again. I have written a small program which I'm not going to run it for you, of course, right now, which we'll do later in our course. But I've written a program wherein I pull all this data. You just have to mention the name of the companies, and then you'll have all this data side by side. So in one page itself, you can compare all this data and then decide as to what you want to do. So Python makes that much more easier. Now, just don't go by my code, okay? I'm pretty bad at that. I don't maintain proper indentation, etc. And it might not look good, but otherwise Python is Python's code is extremely readable, okay? And when you just look at Python code, you'll be able to understand as to what the author is trying to do. And okay, now developer productivity, Python code is typically 1/3 to 1/5 the size of C++ or Java code. See, this is most important here, right? 1/3 to 1/5 is extremely less. I mean, if you are writing 100 lines of code in some other, in C++ or Java, you're just writing, even if it's 1/3, you're just writing, 33% of, maybe 33 lines in 100 lines that you would have written in Java. So it's extremely less. And I would say it's not even 1/3. It's less than that. It's 1/3 to 1/5. It's somewhere between 1/3 to 1/5. Okay, so that means there's less to type, and when you have less to type, there will be less to debug, less to maintain, and it's a lot easier. The maintainability, readability, everything is much more higher in Python when you compare this to any other language. And Python was designed, so that it was designed in order to in order to help programmers or maybe scientists, I would say. They would want to analyze a chunk of data quickly, on ad hoc basis, and that's why Python came into existence. Program portability, Python programs run unchanged on all major computer platforms, right? You do not have to change it, and even when there is change of versions in Python, you don't have to change it. It's portable. Python is an interpreted language, by the way. Support libraries, Python comes with large collections of pre-built and portable functionality known as standard libraries. This library supports an array of application level programming tasks from text pattern matching to network scripting. Now, Python is open source, as most of you would know, and there are a lot of people who are contributing to Python, okay, day in and day out. And there are numerous packages that are available right now in Python, which you can reuse. Instead of writing code, you can just reuse them. That makes your life much more easier when you are writing. Here, right, I was showing you the list of libraries that I have used. Okay, I have used libraries starting from Beautiful Soup to Django to Jinja to Pillow to the names are funny, but to Matplotlib. If some of you folks who might have used R would know that would know what a Matplotlib does. I've used IPython and Beautiful Soup. The latest version of Beautiful Soup, which is Beautiful Soup 4, NLTK, NumPy, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of this, and this is not even maybe 2% of all the packages that are available. It's so powerful. There are so many packages which are already available in Python that you can reuse this, right? See, you see this here, import OA2, right? When I was working on Twitter, and I was searching, there are so many packages already available to pull data from Twitter, right? Using this, and then I found out that OAuth2 is the best amongst them, and hence, if I go back here, you see this. This is the package that I have imported, and I've used that package in order to do all my work here. Using this package as OAuth, you see all this consumer token, etc. I've used that package and have done all my work. Okay. So there are a lot of other packages available as well. If you are working on something and you need some packages, you might as well Google it, because there are, and you'll find a lot of packages available. Please read through it and then implement the best one, whichever suits you. Python is ocean in itself. Okay, so you can understand the basics of it, but there would have been many individuals, many folks who are actively contributing to Python, and there are a lot of complex packages available over. So now, component integration, Python scripts can easily communicate with other parts of an application using variety of integration mechanisms. So this is one of an important concept that I'm going to talk, and which is not now, towards the fag end of the course, right? When we are, okay, 1 second. Okay, just a second, Deepika. I'll just come to that. Just give me a minute. Let me explain this, and I'll come back to that. So component, this is something that I'm going to discuss at the fag end during maybe in my 9th class, wherein I'll be using Python to actually talk to Hadoop and then do map reduce. I'll also call Python from Hive. This might not be parts of our course, but I want to show you as to how interesting this is. I see that many of you folks are from database. You have a little bit of a database background, so, and then even if you do not know Hadoop for that matter, you'll be able to understand, because Hive is similar to SQL query, and then I'll integrate that with Python and so as to how that looks. That will be quite interesting. And enjoyment because of Python ease of use and built-in tool sets. Okay, it makes programming more pleasurable. Okay, so I don't know how many of you would find pleasure writing any code, but it's of course it's easy to use. Okay, coming back to your question, Deepika. When you import a package, how do you know what parameters to pass, what functions are available in the package? You'll have to read the documentation for every package that we get, right, that we import. There is a documentation that's available. You'll have to read through those documentation and then find out, Deepika. That's how it is. Because even you can contribute, or I can contribute, right? I can write some package and then have it available there. But until unless I know the documentation, the usage of it, as to what parameters should I pass and what is the output that I get, then until then makes no sense, right? Moving on to our next slide now about Python. Now these are stories that I'll quickly go through. This was invented in Netherlands in early 90s by Guido van Rossum, and named after Monty Python, a comedy group, as Python is fun to use, right? Open source and interpreted language. Considered a scripting language, but it's much more than that. Now if you compare Python with your Unix shell scripting, then Python is much more, or even batch scripting or any of the Perl scripting, Python is much more powerful than that. It's scalable, object-oriented, and functional, right? It's used by Google, increasingly popular. I can tell you for a fact that the entire Amazon Web Services has been written in Python. So it's just huge, powerful. Okay, Python job trends from Indeed.com shows remarkable increase. It was this was in January 2006, and look at in January 2013, and this is not going to come down. Okay, this is going to just go up and up and up. Python is at the top of the list among the top dogs: Java, JavaScript, and PHP, according to RedMonk first quarter plot of 2014 ranking. That means the popularity of Python is just skyrocketing right now. Babu, Amazon Web Service, I'm talking about Amazon Web Service, whatever you write there, right? Let's say, for example, my Hadoop map reduce code, etc., that I would have written, any configuration there at the back end, it all gets converted into Python, and Python does everything there. I think they started writing with Perl. It is, I would not say, is it dynamic and strong? Is it dynamic and strong typed language? It is strongly typed language, but dynamic in the sense, I did not get you. In what context are you saying it as dynamic? Okay. Babu says okay. Okay, Dino, I am waiting. You can respond to it in what context you are saying it as dynamic, and then we'll discuss about that. So users of Python. Okay, you see this YouTube was originally written in Python and MySQL, right? YouTube. Okay, look at the users. All the powerful all the biggies are users of Python. Dropbox web-based file hosting is implemented using Python. Both the Dropbox server running cloud and desktop client software are primarily written in Python. So if you have used Dropbox, I use it. You see this? I use it all the time. So Yahoo acquired 411 whose address and mapping lookup services were implemented in Python. Yahoo Maps uses Python again. Google, many components of Google Spider and search engine are written in Python. So the reason why people prefer Python is because it's easier to code. There are a lot of packages already available. People are contributing to it, and hence all of these Job Corporation, UltraSeek, Sopila, EM, almost all of not all of these are using Python, and there are many others which we have not mentioned here who are users of Python. Okay. Is it bound to a value or can be reassigned or need to be bound to the original type for the lifetime? Can only reference type compact instances. So it is okay. Let me try to rephrase what you have said. Right? Okay. Dynamic meaning, is it bound to a value or can be reassigned or needs to be bound to the original type for its lifetime? In this sense, it is dynamic. Yes, in this sense, it is dynamic, and once you have set a value to a particular variable or yes, I think it's dynamic. That way you can take it. And when I'm actually explaining you the code, like C and Smalltalk. Yes, it's almost many of the features were initially taken from C, as you'll also see that C and Java is from where they started building Python. So it's more like C and Smalltalk. Yeah, no problem. So we'll go here. Traditional uses of Python is of course scripting your C++ program, C Python interpreter, right? You have again a Jython interpreter as well, and which we'll talk during the later part, wherein you write your code in Python and then it gets converted internally into Java bytecode, and then it works like a Java. So that is where you need the Jython. So all this code that we write in Python, is executed as Jython. You'll have to use the Jython interpreter to execute this in Hadoop, okay? Because at the end of the day, the entire base on which Hadoop is built, is on Java. And guys, I'll be referring to Hadoop and big data a lot more, because the course has been intended. The intention of this course is not just Python, but to give you a background of how Python is used with big data. So Python code, the interpreter will be used as Jython, and then will be and we make it work in Hadoop. You have CPython, you have script.py. So this is how you have the Python extension is .py, as you have already seen that. Python is used in image processing, in artificial intelligence, NLP. All this has different packages. So like artificial intelligence has NLP, your GUIs, Tinker, GTK, Windows. Now for GUIs you can use Django, right? You have database. There are a lot of packages available for database, image processing, system utilities, internet scripting. Like the first page itself of this PPT, we saw that it's mostly used to create the HTML content of an web page. So these are the traditional uses of Python, but it's not limited to this. It's much more than this. Uses of Python in data analytics, I think this is where you'll be more interested. Now, weather forecasting. Now, okay, I'll cover that. Weather forecasting, scientific analysis, ad targeting, risk management analytics, right? So let me take one example. I'll go through this and then I'll ask you a question. New use cases of Pythons are the major growth driver for increasing demand of Python skills, right? New use cases, or maybe the advent of big data, right? The advent of Hadoop has led to increase in the demand of Python skills. Okay. These use cases are emerging because of various reasons, one of which is new packages that were added onto standard libraries such as PyDo, Pandas, SciPy, etc. Now, PyDo is the package that is used for Hadoop, right? You can execute your Hadoop directly from PyDo, your Pandas, SciPy, etc. for machine learning, and it's more like a replacement for Mahout inside Python itself. We'll see how to use them in further classes. Now, guys, do we know what an ad targeting is? I just want to give you a brief idea of what that is and move on. I'll not talk about everything because weather forecasting, everyone knows that we get minute by minute data, and then based on this huge data set, we forecast or we predict as to what is going to happen maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow. When is the onset of monsoon, and how is monsoon getting delayed, etc. Those are all weather forecasting, scientific analysis. It's used to analyze even your medicine and a lot of things. Okay, but let's talk about ad targeting here. Okay, targets the Raghavendra says it's target the particular audience. Anthony, recommendation engine. Okay, Naveen says showing of ads based on customer previous viewing. Okay, like people between 55-75 for retirement benefits. Okay. Amit Panda, ad campaign is done for target customer, right? So I wrote this program, okay, wherein not a program, it was an entire project wherein we would find out users or a mobile phone user in a particular location. Okay, now I think okay, fine. So we wrote this program wherein we would identify users based on particular location. Let's say, for example, I have Walmart or Target. This programmer intended to be sold to all these giants, wherein they will know that who are the users in and around in the vicinity of that store, maybe 10-mile radius or so, and then they will be able to target this ad at those users. It's no point targeting ad to someone. Let's say I'm in Austin, Texas, and then I'm targeting an ad in India. I'm sending an ad in India. It's waste of effort, right? You're trying to push in something to someone's mobile phone based on lot of criteria, maybe IME, IP address, or maybe the IP address, and so on and so forth, right? So if you are pushing something from Austin, Texas, if you have a Target store in Austin and then you're pushing that ad to someone in India, does not make sense. So using R, you find out those outliers and stuff. That is an interesting program, but it's like it can target to that extent that it will know what your interests are. It would have, this program would have done analysis on your buying pattern as to, if you log in your, let's say, computer, and then you want to, let's say, for example, you go into a computer and then you log into Amazon.com website, you search for a Nike shoe, right? The next time maybe you log into Facebook, you would see that, the same shoe or maybe a Reebok shoe is appearing on the right hand side of the screen. On your screen, and then it would say that Reebok is giving a 10% discount on this particular brand of shoes which you were trying to buy of Nike. So there are many ways that this ad targeting issues, and it's very interesting. I'll give an example here. You guys all of you would have smartphones, right? Okay, I have seen it. Okay, yes, I have seen it once. I started searching for Hadoop training. Yes, Anthony, and then you see Edureka appearing everywhere, right? So that's ad targeting. Now that you have clicked off to Edureka, you'll see it everywhere. Go to Facebook, go anywhere, you'll see that. All right. Okay, great. So I was talking about ad targeting, wherein I was talking about mobile phones. Okay, look how dangerous it can be. The advent of big data, there is no privacy at all. Okay, So many a times you download many of these applications from your for your mobile, right? And then you say agree and allow, right? Even without reading the entire statement, whatever has been written there. How many of you guys have done that? I'm sure most of you have done that, right? I mean, you want a GPS application, you just download it and then say you agree even without reading it. And many a times you see that it says that I am going to read your call logs. Okay, these days they have stopped it, but at some of those apps will still have it. They say that we will access your call log, we will access the data, and will store it, but then will not share it, etc., etc. They will give all this information. So what they do is, when you download this app, let's say you download an app for Amazon.com for shopping. You downloaded that app. What Amazon would do is read all your call logs, okay, and then let's say you start buying a Nike shoe. The next time you see, your friends, your immediate friends and families have also started getting the same ad. How does that happen? It's reading your call logs, and then it's finding out all those people that you're calling, your close knit of people, let's say 6 to 10 people that you call. Based on that, this ads will be served to them as well. And then, because you are buying a Nike shoe, your friend is most likely, might get influenced by you or by the same brand or same kind of product that you have bought, right? So that's the type of ad targeting that's being done. And all your data, each and every time you log into internet and you provide some kind of data, or you have some kind of data in your cookies as well, in your web page, everything is stored record by record. Someone out there, some program out there is analyzing your every step, right? And that's how you'll be surprised to see that many times you might be thinking that, okay, I need to buy this dress, or maybe I need to buy this mobile phone, and that the ad is already there. And many times it so happens that they force you to buy even when you do not want, by giving you like say 10% discount, 20% discount. They force you to buy because it keeps on flashing onto your screen, and it seeps onto your mind, and then you start buying it. That's the level of I would not say manipulation, but that's the level of ad targeting that's being done. And I can assure you, all of you in this class, each one of your record is being stored by Google. Facebook already has your data. Twitter is already analyzing it. Every one of these major organizations do have your data. And then if you are like a high brand, high net worth individual, you'll be getting a lot of things based on your data already available on social networking sites or elsewhere. A lot of research is being done, and I've been involved in certain projects, so I know. I used to work with a very senior data scientist. Okay, he was almost in his retirement age, and he never used to use a smartphone. I asked him this question as to why he does not use a smartphone. The answer he gave me was, I have designed many an application wherein people, I just pull out details of those particular individuals who are installing those apps, etc. I do not want to fall on the same category wherein someone else will be analyzing my data, and hence he never used a smartphone. He used to use a basic phone. Those were days when I started working with him initially, and he had worked in a lot of places, and then he had come out from there, and then he used to say all those things to me. So, okay, now moving on to our next slide, Python user for data analytics. Forecast Watch is they use this for weather forecasting. Okay, you can go to forecastwatch.com for further information on data analytics on weather forecasting. You'll also get huge sets of data if you want to write your program. Okay, if you want to write your let's say complex program, or you want to have huge sets of data, that will also be available here. Or if you want, you can send us an email. We will provide you not just, we'll give you a link where you will be able to download GBs and GBs of data for your analysis. AppNexus is a real-time online advertising platform company uses the Python programming language to help conduct heavy-duty data analysis. These are again examples: Altus, Los Alamos, right? So you see the scientists in the theoretical physical division at Los Alamos National Laboratory, they are using Python to control large-scale physics cores on massive parallel supercomputers, high-end servers and clusters. So basically Python is used everywhere. Now Python timelines. Okay, now we are slowly going inside the technical aspects of it, leaving behind the evolution of Python. Python started in January 1994, 1.5 and 1.6 version, and then slowly, it came to 2000, wherein 2.1, 2.2, 2.6. Now will be using this version 2.7, which was released on July 3, 2010. There are a lot of these packages, right? These packages that you have been seeing, right? All these packages, you'd ask me as to why I do not use 3.2 right now, right? See, some of these packages are written in 3.2, but most of these packages, right, are compatible with 2.7 version, and hence 2.7 is the most used version in Python right now. So this is what I'm using. You can use 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 as well. I mean, that's up to you. But for this class, I'll be using 2.7 version because some of these packages that I want to show is on 2.7 and which are the stable version. In this course, we are going to use the Python version 2.7.6. Okay, that's the version of Python that we are using. It is because the library support for version 3.x is not adequate to fulfill day-to-day business needs. Okay, and in industry, most of the softwares are using 2.7. It is 2.7. I mean, people are also using 2.6, and 2.6 also was a stabler version before 2.7. So people have started moving to 2.7 lately, but prior to this, I was also using 2.6, and then I moved on to right now. I think in my system you see 2.7.5 or 7. I don't know, but 2.7.x is the version that I'm using, and hence it's most widely used version.